Today I want to talk about a subject that often controversial, and a lot of people, I don't like talking about it too much because it upsets people a lot. But I think in this time we need to get into it. It's called religion. Um, the definition of religion is the belief in and or worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. So the reason why I think it's important to talk about religion in these times is because religion helped us, by good or bad, helped us get to the point where we are today in society. So therefore, basically, um, I believe to a lot of our demise and a use of our brain because of the fact that there's a lot of control. Basically, anytime you're not allowed as a person to interpret and develop different, like, if you have 10 million people in the Catholic Church, they're all supposed to agree on the certain values of their religion. Like, for example, they all have to believe that everything that's written in the Bible is truthful, or basically word for word is meant its meaning comes and is one meaning. You can't interpret it any different than that. And there's people in place to teach you how to interpret that. Anytime you have something of that nature, it's bound to become troublesome because you got to be able to experience these things for yourself. You can't have somebody always telling you how to interpret things. Two of the same people could have a similar experience, but yet interpret it very different. So it's very important that each person has their own experience, interprets their own way, and uses it towards their life and to better their life and the people around them. Instead of having one figure telling you that this is the way and you have to follow this and you can't bear from this and these are the 10 commandments, and if you don't do this you're going to hell. And it causes a lot of fear. I was brought up in the Catholic religion, and it brought me a lot of fear throughout my younger years of, I can't say curse words, I can't do this, I can't do that. When I became older, it became so freeing to realize that all of this was not factual, not true, most of it not true, and a lot of it was left for interpretation. Um, when I read the Bible now or read holy books and things of that nature, I try to envision what they were experiencing at that time. But then in the end, I have to go within and try to experience it myself instead of just going on what is said in a certain book. Um, there's a lot of things in the Bible that made me question it, even as a young man. One of the things that always made me question it was the creation of the devil. So in the Bible, it says that God knows all, and when He created the devil, he was an angel, and it was like His most beloved angel, and then Satan wanted to be worshipped just like God, so he turned on him. Okay, well, if God, whoever you think of God in the Bible, God created the devil. Well, then He know that the devil was gonna be bad later on. So why would you even create that? If you love your children and all of that, why would you give them something negative like that? You wouldn't. So therefore, that used to cost me a lot of, used to make me question that part of the Bible a whole lot. Um, the other one was Adam and Eve getting kicked out of Eden because they ate from a tree that basically God told them not to. And I always looked at it as like, um, I have children, and if they ever disobey me, which they have many a times, uh, I don't just kick them out of the house and say, "That's it, you're done. Now you're gonna die on the streets." You wouldn't do that. Those are your children. You love them. you want them to take it. Maybe you might kick them out for a little bit, out of the garden and say, oh, and pretend for a day, leave them out of the garden, then say, okay, listen, you're welcome back, but you can't let it happen again. So it's just and then when you realize, when you dive deep into the Bible, that there's so much symbolism with the apple, with the serpent, and that symbolism carries in a lot of different religions. It's not just that the one. And that's why when you start to broaden your horizons on different religions, it's very important, I believe, that we're all exposed to different types of religions. I don't believe any human being should be brought up just on one. You start realizing all the things that are in each different holy book is almost the same story. And then you find out, when you trace it back and you see all the years that it goes back, you start realizing that a lot of religion that we have today came from Egypt and Sumeria. A lot of it came from those two places. So, and when you read their stories, then you see that a lot of stories from the Bible were basically borrowed from these other civilizations. So, I mean, there's a lot of mythology too in a lot of this. So it was a way of them interpreting what they called the gods, but it was like the forces of nature were doing. So they had to figure out ways to kind of break down and identify these forces. Well, the way they did it was by mythology, which would be, creating a god, creating a devil, creating like basically a good side and a bad side, which, we all have. We all have that polarity, that duality that we have too. No one is all good, no one is all bad. We were all created the same, with the same amount of good, the same amount of bad. You choose what you want to do with that. I believe that the way to have a healthy life is through balance and harmony and peace. And that's how you find yourself. You keep everything on a level like this. So you can't be all good, you can't be all bad. You got to kind of keep it all together. And sometimes you could be that good guy, sometimes you could be the bad guy, and you could play those roles. And it doesn't have to be in the same story, but you could play the bad guy for somebody, but yet you could be the hero in another story. It's just different roles that you play, just as the role of, whatever your job is, whether, being a parent, being a brother, being a sister. Those are all different roles that we all play. And in the end, it's just having fun with those. In life, you got to have fun with everything that you learn, and everything that you do. And that's what I think life really is about. It's about having that balance of, being able to be upset, being able to get mad, and being able to be happy, and being able to be sad, but at the same time never letting that go too far one way or too far the other way. It's got to stay in the middle, just like everything, just like with your diet, with your exercise. Everything has to have a balance to it, because if you exercise too much, then you leave your work, your home life, your friendships. You're not paying any attention to any of that when you're way over here. Then if you go to the other side and you do very little, on this side you end up getting really fat and doughy and weak. And so neither one of them is good. The best part to do is right here in the middle, where you're doing the work. You're working out, but you still have friends. You're not at the gym 24/7. You're doing everything in harmony with each other. And when you start doing that, letting go of everything, it shows you that this is the way that it should be. But like I said, religion and society kind of go together, and they've made this whole thing very different. We don't learn how everything is interchangeable and everything is interconnected. We don't learn that in religion, and most religions, I should say. We learn that, a lot of it is that you basically pray and leave it up to God to hopefully help you out and listen to your prayers. And that's all you got to do. And if you're a good person, he will listen to you. and things will go good for you. But as you know, it doesn't always work that way. I've known some wonderful, great people that work very hard and will die with without a penny in their pocket because this society does not work like that. The world, the universe does not work like that. Yes, you got to have intention, you got to have focus, but you also got to be able to put it into action. But again, in that action, you can't bear too far either way. You got to stay right in the middle, and I believe that's where all the work and everything just falls into place just like this because that's where it's supposed to be. That's all I got to say about it this week. Namaste.